Okay, so Grand Arena Championship has been and gone for its exhibition season, and the rewards were fantastic. Okay, I'm being facetious. They were terrible. The whole thing was a complete mess. Let's face it, that was probably one of the worst new content rollouts we have ever witnessed. I kind of wish the Gamechanger program had been around. I mean, if we were testing things the way we used to, they could have thrown like 8 of us up against each other. We could have tested the whole thing out, made sure it was actually going to work right when it went live. Unfortunately, it went out untested again, and the usual happened. The new stuff doesn't work. Completely sucks. I'm very, very frustrated actually. I had an opponent I was looking forward to facing. He's a member of Shadowlands. It's a guild, an alliance that I actually get on with really, really well. So that was going to be quite interesting. The live stream, we were actually going to attack at the same time, make it a little bit more exciting for everybody. But alas, you know, none of that's happening now. I believe it's kicking off again on Monday. Hopefully things will actually be working smoothly this time. I'm a little bit nervous because once again we're going to be matched up against new people. I don't know quite how balanced these matches are going to be. Some of them were quite iffy this time around. There was a bunch of guys in my battle that had Malik, and then there were a bunch that looked like they only just unlocked Jedi Revan and had no hope in hell of even winning a single battle in that. It was pretty lopsided. It goes back to what I was saying about the Gamechanger program ending. I haven't really spoken greatly about it. I've touched on the subject when people ask a few questions in live streams and stuff, but I haven't really sat down and gone over how the program was for me and it ending and everything. I mean, I had been frustrated with it for a long time. I almost left the program in April last year or something like that. I'd been there about 6 months. I didn't feel I really received any real support from the program. Any content I was getting early, I was getting it about 6 a.m. UK time, and the embargo would be about 7 p.m. for me to release it. Obviously, I'd be off at work at that time. I would get home about 6 p.m., which left me a whole hour to not only go through the content, but create the content, encode it, and upload it. And it just didn't have the time, so it really didn't offer me a great deal of benefit. I did get a plug once for my Twitch channel, I believe it was, and it gave me a nice viewer spike. It didn't really last into anything because most of those people had come there for news. The plug had actually kind of misadvertised what the whole thing was about, so most people that turned up ended up being annoyed with it, and it didn't really help in the long run. For example, my channel at the start of January had about 1,000 subs, and now I'm just right on the cusp of 7,000 subs, and I haven't actually had any content whatsoever from Capital Games since October. So my channel growth really had absolutely nothing to do with being in the program. All the content I was making on my main account, or it was videos like this where I'm really just expressing views. Being one of the international game changers, I wasn't invited to any of the trips. So, you know, there really wasn't a great deal of point me even being in the program. I was frustrated with it, and closing's not really going to affect my channel whatsoever. I do feel Capital Games should definitely take use of some of the experienced players within the program, however, when it comes to testing, because, I mean, this Grand Arena Championship has been such a mess. A complete mess. It blowing up like this has angered so many people. The one credit payout has angered people. I mean, that's clearly not going to be the make good. I hope the make good isn't double drops again, but I'm pretty sure that you know, we're going to get a proper reward and some sort of apology gift on Monday as well when they launch the new season. But for example, I mean, the Game Changers didn't test anything after, I believe, Jedi Revan was the last thing we actually tested, and so many of those following releases, Darth Revan for example, Malik for another example, were complete messes. Everybody was up in arms and outraged at the micro buffs that were happening, and then the rework with Anakin, and then they had to nerf that one. You know, so many of these things weren't tested because obviously we weren't being asked for our opinion. We weren't being given any early time with these characters, and I feel if we had done, then things would have gone out smoother. Because the one character we did test, for example, Padme, that went really, really smooth. So perhaps if we'd been brought in for Darth Revan and Malik, then none of that would have happened. Perhaps if we had been able to test Anakin, none of that would have happened. I mean, some stuff would have still slipped by, I'm sure. We only get so long to actually test these things, and we're not allowed to actually record any of it and make videos on it, so it doesn't offer a huge incentive for us to test this stuff for free anyway. Most of the time we're here making videos for our channels, and that can be quite time consuming, especially when you've got to, you know, test footage, record that footage, piece it together, edit it, voice over it, promote it. That takes a huge amount of time. People don't really realize these 10-minute videos can take 3-4 hours, sometimes even more if you really delve into the editing aspect of it to actually put together. And then there's a low viewership ceiling for this game because it's a niche channel. I mean, all these channels that cover Galaxy Heroes, we're niche channels. We don't really compare to, you know, the big gaming channels that are out there. 50,000 views is usually the top end that you can pull in. Mine tend to pull in about 10 to 15,000. My better videos 20 plus. But my standard news videos, for example, things like this, 2.5 is usually the tops. So there's not really time to spare for me to go and test all this stuff for free, because we don't get paid anything as part of the Gamechanger program. We don't get any sort of monetary rewards whatsoever outside of being able to cover the game. But as you've seen over the last several months where I've really not even been in a Gamechanger program because it hasn't existed, it doesn't really make a difference to what I can put out. Now, I know there were leaks within the program, and I know some of the leak things did happen because I witnessed these myself before I joined the program. However, once we stopped getting information, leaks were still happening, and the Game Changers didn't know this stuff. So it's clearly not just the Game Changers that were the problem with this. I don't know if it's the beta program staff. I don't really have a clue. But the fact is, some of these details were, you know, appearing on Reddit, Line, and Discord. I remember seeing screenshots and stuff, and we didn't know this ourselves, so we can't really be the only issue there. I know Mist went on Reality Skewed Gamers and mentioned that he suspected it was the international Game Changers because things got a lot worse once floods of them arrived and they hadn't been vetted and such. However, there's no guarantee that it definitely was one of them, because the fact is, the bigger the program got, the easier it was to be, you know, the one leaking things and hiding. It's very easy to say, oh, it's the new guy, for example, but you know, it's one of those things. They didn't know who the leak was, we didn't know who the leak was, but the leaks kept happening even after we stopped getting the information anyway. So, you know, there have been some promises that we'll still get access to things. We won't be the ones that actually like release the information to the public, but we'll still have the access to test things and film things and such. You know, so it's kind of just a wait and see on that. I don't really know if that's just a way to keep us happy, so we don't outright just, you know, get the pitchforks out and, you know, and go to task on Capital Games. But if I would like to be positive and think we'll be able to have a working relationship going forward. I've always been independent anyway. I've never allowed them to tell me what I'm telling you. I've always said, this is rubbish, don't farm this. This is great, use this. I've always been very, very honest with my viewership. Another one of the suspected reasons that the Game Changer program just went overnight is that I know Mobile and Arnold put a video out, some meme review thing. Apparently Capital Games were really upset about it. They sent them all sorts of like legal letters and things. And then those guys believed that as a result of them saying, well, sorry, you have no legal ground to interfere with our content this way, which they don't. So, you know, Mobile and Arnold are right. They felt that as a result of that Capital Games were like, well, we need more control over what you guys are making, wanted to change contracts and stuff, and you know, then the program and the existing NDAs and things that we had signed were no longer applicable, and everything was kind of dead. I don't really know for sure all the details behind it. I was actually away in London on work, and I came home ready to make a new video that I'd promised my viewers and couldn't get into my account. Suddenly the really good test accounts that we used to have, where we had a private shard, everything was unlimited, we could start raids in specific phases, I could actually just face my own teams. I could set one team up on one account, face it on the other account, and I always knew how things were modded and everything was great, all that kind of stuff. That account had completely gone. I tried to log in and I couldn't access it. I was like, what's going on? So I go on Discord and see all this drama is kicked off, and that they closed the service down. So it was really out of the blue for me. I wasn't even there when it all happened. I just came home to find that all my perks were gone, and I was already incredibly frustrated with the program anyway. So yeah, it was it was pretty rough. A part of the frustration is actually what led me to start covering Marvel Strike Force, because I was originally one of the players that covered Marvel Strike Force when it very first released. I didn't know much about Marvel, but I was enjoying the game. My viewership was pretty decent on Twitch for the game and everything, but there was some pressure to not cover it, being a direct competitor to Galaxy Heroes, and I understood that. But, you know, I was told that, you know, that I was given certain incentives not to cover it. You know, I was still able to get in-game plugs, and I thought, wow, you know, if I do move to YouTube at any point, which I ended up doing anyway, that would benefit my channel and things. But then none of those actually happened anyway. I kind of felt very misled. You know, I was told this will happen, and this will happen as a result of being in the program if you don't cover Marvel, and none of it happened. Absolutely none of it. So, and then the one good thing I had, the test account, that was taken away as well. So it's like, wow, I really should have just carried on covering Marvel, because I lost a huge amount of potential viewers and subscribers and ad revenue as a result of not covering it, in exchange for, in the end, absolutely nothing. So yeah, that's kind of my story as a game changer. I'm still officially an EA game changer now. I was invited to do some of the FIFA stuff at Gamecom in Germany. It was very late notice though, so unfortunately I couldn't go. Hopefully I can go in the future for things like that. FIFA is a game I will be covering as soon as I don't have a complete potato of a PC. My channel will hopefully fund the Zen 2 rebuild that I've really got my eyes and heart set on, and then I can cover some much bigger games along with Galaxy Heroes, because I'm always going to cover that game. I've been playing it for nearly 3 years. Absolutely love it. But yeah, that's the gist of what happened to me in the Game Changer program. I don't feel in the long run it really did a great deal for my channel. The only thing I really feel like got out of the program was probably being able to get in a circle with some of the more successful bigger names, having the ability to talk to guys like Arnold, like Mobile Gamer, like Cub, and see what it is they're doing that is helping their YouTube become more successful, seeing the changes they're making to their content. It's allowed me to kind of craft my own approach to things, but also see what already works and has already been successful. All my actual channel growth has come since the program actually unofficially ended anyway. So yeah, my biggest videos are stuff they've had absolutely nothing to do with. Capital Games themselves, I mean, I've never really had any issues whatsoever with any of the developers. I know I butted heads once or twice maybe. That's usually when I'm just standing my ground on subjects or I'm passionate about something. I know they weren't particularly happy with the video where Grievous got his rework and I absolutely crushed him with 3-man teams, but you know, it was a fair video, so I wasn't gonna not release it. It was something that I'd already done live on Twitch, where everyone had seen all the mods already, and I was like, well, I may as well put a video together about this and show people really quite how underwhelming this rework has been. But in general, I've not really had any issues with them. I still have a line to carry now, and I just hope the end of the program will make things a little bit easier going forward in the future, and I can continue to provide great, unbiased content for you guys. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed my thoughts in it, and I hope it answers all the questions that people keep asking me still to this day about the Game Changer program and about how it affected me, and if I'm upset or whatever about it ending, because I'm not really bothered. I'm just going to keep going forward with this channel. I've got a nice lofty 15,000 subscriber goal for the end of the year. Even Social Blade predicts 12.5 is the highest I possibly get. I'm determined to prove it wrong, and we'll just see what happens. So thanks to all my subscribers. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe button for more of these videos in the future. Check out my Territory Wars counter list as well. I've got an actual playlist for that, and I think that's going to be a really hot commodity for the community. Big shout out to all my patrons as well, my YouTube members. And until next time, guys, we out here.